Media Campus West. You know what it is, the Reach Show, live on Magic 107.5, 97.5, Real Sound of Atlanta. Of course, Reach Radio. Shout out to my brother DJ Decepticon for plugging of all plugs right here. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the man that's been doing so many great things for the state of Texas. We're going to talk about that. The man that always seems to find a way to set the internet completely on fire. We're going to talk about that. The man that's been hitting every single stage across America. Got a show coming up with TK Kirkland real soon. Y'all might not know this man really does comedy. Charleston White is in the building. You can find him on IG at Rat Williams. We got to figure out what that's about and more, man. The guy that's here that, like I said, you just like to throw gasoline sometimes and watch where it lands right now live on the Reach Show. Let me hit the hype bell right now. What's up, big dog?
What's up with it, man? Glad to be here, man.
I'm feeling good to have you here, bro. You were just dropping some gems when the camera was off. We kind of were talking about this space here, this studio space here, and you were saying, you learn from the vets. Now, I want to say that because you doing comedy, but you just dropped two names in comedy that are legends in the game that have dealt with controversy. But that means I just hear it in your voice that you really just don't do comedy. You studied it.
I studied. I've studied all the great comedians, even from Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
And so I even went a little further. As a kid, Howard Stern caught my attention.
Okay.
So from the time I was 15, 16 years old, I would watch Howard Stern on the weekends.
Yeah, me too.
In the boys' home. That was a soft porn. For a kid, that was a soft porn because he go have the porn stars on there. He had Pamela Anderson, you could see the tits. Can I say that on him?
It's too late.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, hold on. Let's go ahead and clear the air. This is a totally uncensored interview. You can say what you want. We can bleep it out for the radio, but you can say what you want. Let's talk. We talking.
Okay. So when you look at Howard Stern, Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, even if you go back to Petey Green.
Right.
So Petey Green was one of my favorites.
Petey Green was one of the legendary radio hosts that was African American, DC. Came on the air, had super shock value, and would say things, but he always had an agenda, underlying agenda that would move the culture forward.
And that's what I came with, right? So if you ask me about anything that I've said that's been offensive that people may think I've gone overboard for, I can give you a reason on why I said it. Okay. So there's nothing I've said on the internet where I've just was saying it just to be saying it. If you ask me, remember, why you say this about this?
Right.
Well, what about when you said you raped this? I can give you a real reason and an explanation on why I said it and a reason for my intent on saying it, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I got that from, Petey Green. So if you go from Petey Green to Red Fox, one of my favorite movies was JoJo Dancer, Richard Pryor. So I learned his life. Robin Harris. So I studied all the greats, homie. So one of my favorite was Dolomite.
Yeah.
I grew up believing that Dolomite was a real person.
Yeah.
He was some ignorant black guy.
Right.
Dolomite.
Right.
It wasn't until Eddie Murphy dropped the biopic on Netflix about Rudy Ray Moore.
Right. Who the man was that worked in a record store.
Yeah.
And got everybody's game from the city around him and made it into a character.
So the same bum or drunk that he used to kick out the store, he eventually ended up meeting him in the alley, homie, and recording him and other guys.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I hung around the Classic Lady, which was a hole in the wall, juke joint, gambling shack, whorehouse.
And this was Texas.
Yeah, this was in Stop 6. So I sat around and heard all this stuff. And so I brought it to the internet. But the light didn't come on until I saw the movie, the life story about Dolomite.
Yeah.
So what I end up assessing is you cannot influence black culture or so to say black people being yourself.
You have to put on a name. You have to put on a facade. You got to put on that mask.
It has to be a smile now, cry later kind of face. It has to be. It has to have some theatrics.
Yeah.
The preacher just can't get up and preach.
Yeah.
Or he teach. He has to come with the
right. They teach that.
Yeah. Homie.
Right.
So even the school teacher, homie, the school teacher just can't get up and teach.
Well, they said that about Dr. King. They said that because he wasn't even if he wasn't the most influential or best activist, he had the most character to be able to get out there and move the people.
Man, his speeches was so the way he delivered them, the tone. So what I learned at the community college level was I took introduction to speech, and then I took a professional speech, and even just writing in English 1, in English composition in college, writing a persuasive paper, writing an informative paper. I learned how to use adjectives and words and descriptive words.
And that's at Wesleyan.
Yeah, that's at Wesleyan.
Right.
So that's the university. So I went to Tarrant County Community College first. So I went from the community college to so rather than get my associate's degree, I transferred into a bachelor of pre-law program.
Right.
But what I learned in professional speech class was the first 2 to 3 minutes of your speech, you have to have some type of statistical data that's gonna get somebody's number. 1 in 3, 1, 2, 3. Say, little homie, one of y'all going to prison. So when I walk into a school and I say 1, 2, 3, and I point out 3 black kids and I say one of y'all going to prison, that's so shocking it makes the teachers uncomfortable.
Right.
And then I stop and say, hold on now, this ain't nothing I'm saying. These are American statistics. So now I got their attention. For one, I done told these kids they going to prison.
Right.
The kids on folded, the teachers.
Now they like, hold on now.
So I use that same tactic on the internet, homie. It's like writing a paper. It's something in your paragraph has to be it has to have some type of shock and awe, some type of shock value to make people keep reading it. And so that's what I brought to the internet.
But see, the issue with that is, and when I say issue, I'm taking this as a total positive thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people can do the 1s and 2s and the X's and O's, but you still got to get out on the court and perform.
Yeah.
A coach could drop the play, which would be the college. You can understand the formula, but the way you perform it, bro, that's pure talent. Because you're believable.
Well, that's where having information, that's where having knowledge, and then that's where having the wisdom to apply the knowledge. So that's the application of the information.
Right.
Most people know a lot of things. They have a lot of information. They know how to do a lot of things, except the things they say they know how to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we know everything except how to build a business, how to get some money. So what I started noticing is all my guys who was coming home from prison, they have all the knowledge in the world. Right. They can talk it, but they can't show you.
Right.
Application. The application. So that's what I started saying. I can't hear nothing I can't see. So I get a lot of people start saying, well, man, you need to do this. Okay, show me. Yeah. Show me what I'm doing. Show me what I need to do right. If what you're telling me I'm doing it wrong, I need to stop doing it. Okay, you show me. Because I got over 12 years of works. Yeah. So there's a scripture in the Bible that says faith without works is dead. So we got a lot of faith. We just ain't got the work.
Yeah, you putting the work in though.
We got a lot of faith. We just ain't got to work.
Now, one thing I've heard you say time and time again, because you talk about hype in your youth organization, the things you're doing, because you were trouble. You went through situations. You was raised in hell in Texas. Let's just put it that way.
A good kid come from a good home. Don't know what it's like to be abused. Don't know what it's like to be hungry at night. I've never came home and the lights was off. I never seen a man come out my mother's bedroom. I'm the kid growing up in Buckhead playing gangster. I'm the kid in the upper middle class neighborhoods that they get to go over their grandmama house or their cousin house who still live in the projects, spend a weekend over there, come back to school on Monday, mimicking everything I saw over there, playing like I'm from there. Right. I started claiming where my po cousin and them were from.
Right. Now, why do you think that is?
Because the culture make you feel like you ain't real. The first thing they gonna say, oh man, you ain't never ate no syrup sandwich. You didn't have a silver spoon in your. So our culture will shame us because we didn't grow up poor. Because our mothers, we inherited something, right?
Yeah, I grew up with my dad around, and people would actually say that in a negative way.
Yeah, I mean, you grew up with your dad, man, you don't know what it's like. Right. Well, I don't need to know what it's like. Right. That's abnormal. I remember asking this kid, young Highway, I said, man, what is like to have your dad in your life? He couldn't answer the question because he don't know what it's like. That was a foreign question.
Yeah, but that's abnormal actually. Yeah, it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, but it's become, now it's true. Even though it's abnormal, it's now traditional. Yeah. It's now, for at least the last, I'm 46, So at least the last, I'll say 50, 55 years, this has been a tradition for young black males to grow up in a single parent, African American home headed by his single mother. Mm-hmm. That's a tradition now.
Yeah. And you said growing up, you're mimicking that because your peers are saying whatever you got going on, you're not real.
Well, during my era, the one daddy on the block, right? So we had my cousin, Steven. So we had my Uncle Joe. Mm-hmm. Nigga gangs didn't come on the block as long as Uncle Joe was there. Mm-hmm. It's when Uncle Joe and them left, the gangs came on the block.
Right.
You didn't walk through Uncle Joe grass. Yeah. You didn't cuss up there by Uncle Joe house. Mm-hmm. So even though that one man presence, he was like all of my fathers.
Right. That's like how my pops was.
Because we had access to him.
Yeah.
So so one dad can father many children on the block. Mm-hmm. But what started happening, we started moving into communities where it was white fathers, mm-hmm. It was Hispanic fathers, mm-hmm. and we had access to their fathers.
Yeah.
So when we spend a night at their house and go back home, we could only dream of what we saw at their house, right? So what we do, we turn on the television, we see Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was my dad.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody said.
He was a lot of folks.
Man, that was my dad.
Yeah. Well, Black Doctor, the first one you seen.
Man, that was my dad. Carl Winslow wasn't my dad. He was like an uncle.
Right.
But Bill was daddy.
Yeah.
Because for up until that time, we just had uncles.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was some of our uncles became that negative male image that sowed the seed of detriment.
Yeah.
My uncle was a pimp, and he thought it was cool to let us see that.
Yeah.
And then the other uncles and your mom cousins. So most of our parents home in the 70s, they was teenage mothers. In the 70s, so most of us in the 70s grew up. Our mothers was young.
Yeah.
Some mothers did some things when they young, just like me. We did some things when we young, and our children see it.
Yeah.
We forget what they see when they this young. Mm-hmm. They don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
So when they grow up, they're gonna display some behaviors that they seen in the first 0 to 5 years of their life. Those things are gonna start displaying when they reach the pre-adolescent to the adolescent age, 10, 11, 12. Mm-hmm. Once they start forming and maturing, where they can run away, maybe buck back, and either make you kill them because their body size is a little bigger, the behaviors that you saw from 0 to 5, that's when they're going to start displaying.
So you fast forward, start displaying these behaviors. Some of these things that you want to see and mimic, you get jammed up. You get tricked out.
Yeah. I had my Aunt B was my mom's youngest sister. Aunt B was street, and Aunt B had a boyfriend named my Uncle Curtis. They was together before I was born.
Yeah.
So they were the uncles who would fight and stab each other, go to jail, but they the cool uncle. Party every weekend. So when crack hit, my mom would let Aunt B come stay with us when she was getting out of jail. Well, guess what she gonna do? She gonna bring Uncle Curtis with her. Right. So Uncle Curtis getting out of prison, he telling me prison stories, and he making the story sound, man,
like it's what you need.
It's like your uncle coming back from the military telling you what happened in Vietnam.
Kind of like the music.
Come on, and he making it, and he cool.
Right.
He he got the Chuck Taylors. He earning the clothes throughout the day. He hustling. He ain't got no job. And so you hearing that from your uncle. Then you got Penitentiary 1. You got the movies Penitentiary. So just like Colors, and so you got Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2, Penitentiary 3. Who you got? Too Sweet. Yeah. Little light skinned dude that can fight. So I done seen all the Penitentiary movies on top of my uncle indoctrinate me. Right. So in my mind, home, I grew up believing because Uncle Wayne went, Uncle Curtis went.
It's almost like a rite of passage, and it's almost like college in some way.
It is. So just imagine this, homie. To a kid, a kid have a young, impressionable mind. Right. It's easy to oppress upon a kid. Right. So if this is all you seeing in the males in your family, every male
that's what you're supposed to do.
Come on, homie. So not only that, when I go with my homeboy Hal, his daddy in prison. Yeah. His brother going to prison. His uncle coming home from prison. Right. So now you got the television that's propagated through the culture, prison through the culture.
Right.
It's just like during the black exploitation era, homie. They propagated prostitutes and pimp studs through the movie Superfly, The Mac, and all. So those movies was propagated through that era. It was literally called the black exploitation era.
We're getting bombarded with all this information, these images, all this imagery.
There you go.
Narrows that, yeah. So I get it. So depending on what age you are, we're the first generation of black children for these mind controlling elements to be projected to. This wasn't civil rights kids. We're not civil rights kids. No, we out there. I'm 83. So
so I'm 77. So we're not.
I'm crack hero. I get it.
Yeah, we're not civil rights kids. I'm black exploitation. So nigga, a pimp is something to admire. It ain't nothing to frown upon. A prostitute ain't nothing to. No, it's something. As a little boy, you want first thing you want to do is say let's go get the prostitute.
And see that I definitely understand that because being 83, I'm growing up watching that was the drug dealer era. So the drug dealer era they were the cool people. That was the people that you wanted to have the money, the cars, the rims, the chains, and all that stuff.
They was the Robin Hoods.
The Robin Hoods, right?
Yeah.
But it's so funny because when I hear my pops talk about drug dealers, he calls them drug addicts. He has the same respect for them as he has for drug addicts because he's like that's not nothing to respect.
Most people who don't live on that side of the street see no prestige in a drug dealer, a drug addict, a thief, a con player, a liar, any sucker that don't get up and go to work and honestly make money. There's no prestige in that.
Right.
Somehow our culture have made all of those elements prestigious.